Good morning. Hello. It's 20 to 9. You're listening to Breakfast here on 5 Live. Chris Warburton and Sam Walker. Let's talk about your teeth. Or more importantly, let's talk about braces. If I say that word to you, are you getting flashbacks to your teenage years? Train tracks. I had them. Did you have them, Chris?
No,
yeah.
I didn't. No.
2 sets.
Perfect.
Your teeth are very straight. Mine are not at all straight. And I had about 19 different braces when I was growing up. You obviously didn't do the job.
Full of fillings, though, so it's not perfect.
Well, you'd know. You could be on American television with that smile. Well, that stereotype of the whole train tracks and not wanting to open your mouth and covering your mouth, it's no longer the case. There's been an increase in the number of adults wearing braces over the last few years. Most orthodontists now see more adults than children. Well, Guy Deeming is from the British Orthodontic Society. Morning, Guy.
Good morning.
So, why have we suddenly become obsessed with getting our teeth straightened as adults?
Well, I don't think we've become obsessed. I think it's been a growing picture for a number of years now. I think fundamentally people are expecting to and wanting to keep their teeth for life. And they're getting much more sophisticated in terms of the decisions that they make about their own treatment. So orthodontics has got a big part to play in that, in terms of maybe improving things that you never had the opportunity to improve before, and in terms of investing in the kind of long-term future of your teeth. And actually, whilst it takes some people a little while to get their heads around the concept of wearing an appliance on their teeth of some description, and let's not forget there's lots of much more kind of discreet or even invisible appliances available now. Certainly for adults, they're taking a much more sophisticated and long-term view of their dental and oral health, rather than just saying, let's take it out or let's worry about it later. So there's a real concept of self-improvement that's now creeping into kind of common consciousness.
Yeah, I can understand brushing your teeth, flossing, using mouthwash, all those help with good oral health. How does straightening your teeth actually help the health of your teeth, the future of your teeth?
Well, that's a complicated one. The evidence is tricky on that point, but certainly what we see is a picture of people who have straighter teeth being more enthusiastic and more motivated to look after them. Maybe in the adult population, we see incidences where it allows them to then have other forms of dentistry, for example, implants, or maybe more conservative dentistry. So instead of having to have really kind of invasive styles of dentistry, maybe having all their teeth crowned or even taken out and replaced, they're able to have some simple orthodontics with a discrete appliance over a relatively short period of time. And that will save them a whole world of invasive and biologically quite costly dentistry for the future. So it's a much more sophisticated way of them making decisions.
So, I mean, there is also, vanity is a very divisive word, but it's fair enough. If people want their teeth to be straighter for cosmetic reasons, there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a big factor as well, isn't it?
Of course it is. And, we know that, when you feel good about how you look, you tend to be more confident, tend to maybe even perform better in terms of how relationships and socializing. So it's a massive part of it, and certainly we shouldn't pretend that it isn't. And we see that all the time on those days at the end of treatment when you take appliances off. It's a magical moment for you and the patient. They feel fantastic. It's a really, really great moment, and you can almost see them grow a little bit taller and smile a little bit broader. The number of times in my clinic we see patients who are upset and distressed at the start, they're covering their mouths, they get to the end of treatment and they're transformed. It's a wonderful thing to see.
Well, let's speak to Rachel from Bedford now, who you had braces fitted age 29, Rachel.
I did, yes.
Guys just described there this sort of reveal moment when the braces come off and you feel taller and more confident. Is that how you felt?
Largely, yes. I actually had lingual braces which go behind my teeth. So they were basically invisible for the duration of my treatment. So as the treatment was going along, I could see the change in my teeth really quickly, actually. So I got that really positive experience throughout the treatment, actually. So, it was sort of a growing improvement in my teeth.
Why did you want to get it done?
So I just had a gap in the front of my teeth that had always bothered me. I couldn't really tell you why. I couldn't explain why it bothered me, but it just did. And one day I realised that, there is something I can do about it. It's within my reach, so why wouldn't I?
How much was it? Let's talk ballpark. How much did it set you back?
It was less than I thought. So because my treatment was relatively simple, it was on the lower end of the scale. I'd heard huge figures from people and thought, well, I would never be able to afford that. But when I went to my orthodontist and we talked about various things, because of the lower level of treatment that I needed, it really wasn't as much as I thought it would be. And for me, it represented a good value for money.
Can you give us an idea? I don't want to pry too much, but just an idea. Is it, £100, £1,000, £5,000, or
It was under 5K.
Okay, so under £5,000, and did your friends realise that you were having this work done? If the brace was behind your teeth, did anyone even know?
They didn't, and we're talking, some of my oldest friends. I was convinced I had, a horrible lisp because of all this metalwork in my mouth. I thought, it's super obvious that you can see this, but no one could tell. I'd get to the end of evenings and people would say, "What do you mean you've got braces? I can't." What's going on?
And would it have bothered you had they known?
No, not at all, to be honest. So it was something I did for me. I was glad that there was something I could do, mostly for work, to be honest. I was glad to have a device that was invisible for work purposes. But in terms of friends and family, I wouldn't have cared if they had been visible.
Lots of people getting in touch, actually. Guy Deeming from the British Orthodontic Society saying straight teeth are easier to clean, which means less likelihood of gum disease, says Eugene in Bromley.
Yeah, I think this, like I said a moment ago, the evidence is complicated in that area, but certainly our kind of kind of anecdotal evidence is that certainly people are more motivated to look after them, and certainly as when we're talking about adults here who 20 years ago maybe wouldn't have had this type of treatment, so this is a kind of an unknown frontier relatively, but certainly we're seeing improvements in the way people are able to look after their teeth, and that would logically translate into some long-term health gains along those lines, yeah.
OK, Guy Deeming, and also to Rachel from Bedford, thank you very much. 8:45 now.